Hi Virgo, welcome to Spiritualista. This is your weekly energy forecast from the 13th until the 19th of October. And this is a general reading, so it may or may not resonate with everybody, but however, if you'd like a personalized deep dive reading, the link to my Etsy shop is below. And let's see what the universe has in store for you guys this week. So Virgo, I've already pre-shuffled heaps for you guys, but I'm just going to do one additional one here. And let's see. So please tap into Virgo's energy from the 13th until the 19th of October. Let's see what's going on for Virgo. All right, let's see here. All right, Virgo. What do we have for you this week? So usually when this takes a little bit of time, I just like to explain that this is a Celtic Cross reading if you haven't seen one of these before and if you're new to my channel. So we're going to have 10 cards and all the cards are going to be in different positions and each position has a different archetype. So we have both the archetypes of the cards themselves in the tarot, right? But then we have the positions. So that could be your near future, that could be your hopes, your fears, that could be advice from the universe, and that card is going to translate its energy to that position, and that's how we know. We got reversals, just saying. We got 2 reversals here. So the one that is the crossing, I'm going to leave normal because it is a crossing. However, we have the 8 of Wands. Okay, 8 of Wands reversed as your present moment. You're taking things slow right now. Yeah, there's not a lot of movement happening for you right now. I think you're fine with that. I think that's what you need. All right, so then we have the Page of Swords as your crossing, your challenge, which is why we don't usually do reversals with those. I've done those before, but it just doesn't make too much sense to do so because the challenge is already sort of the card reversed in itself. And yeah, so we're gonna leave the Page of Swords in this sideways position here. I'm gonna show you from the top down, so you're gonna see what that looks like. And then we're gonna see your crowning energy. So the top of your mind is the moon. Interesting. Okay. And we have your foundation, so your subconscious mind with the King of Swords. So we have the double swords there already. So you're very much mind-based right now. Okay, and then we have your recent past position. Another sword, so the Queen of Swords. Now we have the King and the Queen of Swords there. And your near future, the 5 of Swords. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah, we're gonna be in our heads a lot. I'm saying we because I'm a Virgo too. Well, wow. Okay. So we're gonna keep getting swords. Is that what it is? Okay. So let's see here. So your suggested approach, advice from the universe, is the King of Cups. Finally. Okay. Some emotion, right? We're not just mechanical this week. Okay. And then we have the surrounding energies with the 2 of Wands. All right. And then we have your hopes and fears with the 3 of Pentacles. Now we're starting to get a little bit of a variety pack of different energies here, so that's good. so many swords. Okay, and then the potential future here with the Fool. Perfect. All right, perfect way to end this. And let's see the bottom of the deck here. The World. Oh, wow, I think it's been a while. It's been a hot minute since I've seen the World come up in a Virgo reading, so good. So we're completing something here. A cycle closing off. All right, guys, so let's get to it. Okay, so right now you're in a slow period, Virgo. Feels like something has sort of hit a snag for you here. So yeah, maybe delays. You're just like, there's a frustrating sense about this energy here with you. Like it's, you want things to move faster, but it's just not syncing up for you yet in the present moment. And also why I say that, so this is the 8 of Wands, right? So it's all about momentum. It's all about news, right? So there could be a lack of communication going on here in one of your connections or many of your connections. It's all about fast movements, right? But it's reversed. So that's that, right? There's something right now that is like it's a little bit stagnant. And yeah, I feel like you want things to move here. And it's kind of like it's starting to get a little bit frustrating to not know when that's going to happen for you. And like, man, like, this is seriously, there's so many swords here. You're basically surrounded by swords and the moon there. So we're going to start with the challenge. So Page of Swords. Challenge here is just curiosity, right? But without this clarity. So I feel that very much so you're waiting for answers in regards to something. Could be that you're applying for a job, right? Applying for a scholarship or applying into school, right? You're trying to determine whether a relationship is leading to something serious or if it's not, if you should move on. Like you're seeking information. You're so much of that energy with the swords, and you just don't have the full picture. Hence the moon, right? And it's just like there's a lot of mixed messages going on for you this week. Could be a little bit of gossip, just saying, could be a little bit of gossip. So yeah, and it feels like you're watching all of this, like you're watching all the situations very closely, but you're just not getting any action. Like you're not getting any answers. You're just kind of stuck there, and you're sort of like itching for this progress. You want things to just kickstart here. And the lesson for you this week is going to be all about patience, like literally all about patience. A lot to do with discernment as well, where yeah, like you can't, I mean, you can refresh, right? If it's an inbox, you keep refreshing that, right? Or in my case, if it's YouTube Studio, you can say guilty. I keep refreshing that, right? And it's just that, right? It's not gonna arrive faster just because you're staring at the screen. It's not. And it's not gonna arrive slower either, but it's gonna feel slower to you, right? It's gonna feel slower to you. I'm gonna give you an analogy that is completely niche. You're definitely gonna understand this if you are into editing videos. So yesterday I was exporting a video in my editing software, and I have been exporting heaps of videos without cleaning out the cache, right? Which is something that you do occasionally, especially if you have an older computer and you don't have a lot of processing power on that. So before we get too nerdy about that, what happens when you don't clear out the cache is that it just gets extremely slow. So like literally 1 second of that export is gonna take me like 10 minutes, right? And I was just like, I was just looking at that timer just ticking and ticking and ticking, and it was just so excruciatingly so slow. So I just put my computer to the side, I went to bed, and then I woke up in the morning. It was still at about like 40%, and I just gave up and I just canceled the export, cleaned out the cache, and then it just went fast, right? So I should have just done that, but that's the sense I'm getting from this energy here, where you're just looking at the clock and then it's just moving even slower than if you wouldn't be looking at the clock and you're watching the little second dial just move. It's that feeling here. And that's gonna be a little bit of a challenge for you. So definitely makes sense, like if you're waiting for something, especially if it's important, right? But like I said, it's not gonna come faster just because you are very much into looking at that and waiting for that. So just use this pause because it's there. You can't do anything about it right now. Just use it to gather insight instead. And don't let your restless energy sort of take you down, right? That's the thing here. That's the energy for the week. So, okay, like I'm gonna talk about the moon now. So, I mean, because there is a lot of uncertainty here with the situation here. And it's a lot of like brain power, it's a lot of mind-based thinking here with the swords, but the moon brings a little bit of emotion to the table as well as the King of Cups here. So that's why I'm feeling that there could be unclear signals with someone here. And now your own doubts are sort of kicking in and making it really hard for you to know what's real about this connection, right? And the moon, like usually it does, like it has a tendency to stir up a little bit of projection here, where you're seeing what you want to see, and sometimes even what you fear to see, rather than the actual truth, like the clear truth of what's going on here. So yeah, it's kind of that feeling like when you're walking outside at night, right? And you only have a flashlight, or you only have the street lights available to you, or only the moon in this case. That's why that's the symbology of that card, because you can still see the shapes, like the silhouettes, but you're not really sure what those things are, and you can actually misinterpret those things to be something entirely different. I'm thinking about Snow White. That's the vision I'm getting in my mind when she's walking in the woods and all those trees turn into monsters, right? That's the feeling there. So it could be a lot of your imagination too. playing little pranks on you, because you are just in that state right now. And this, yeah, it's very unclear for you here. Yeah, and so we have your foundation with the King of Swords. So deep down, of course, like, you do value truth. You want this clear thinking to happen above basically everything else right now. You just want to resolve this. And like, even though your head does feel very clouded right now, your core is very strong in this reason here, in this reason energy, right? And you want to make your decisions very much based on facts rather than just guesswork, and rather than your emotions here. So this is definitely a tension here, where your mind is still towards, like, it's being pulled towards that mystery, right? With the moon and that uncertainty here. But your inner being, your soul, wants really rational answers here, and very like clean cut lines, right? So that's why it's a paradox, because it's almost like a part of you is really getting lost in this sort of like almost like a dream state here. And another part of you wants to just cut straight through that with just truth, right? So the key here is to balance that and still honor your intuition there without letting any illusions sort of run the show for you this week. And recent past, another sword. So Queen of Swords, we're not done with the swords yet. So Queen of Swords, like, recently you've been embodying this energy here, which is you just stepping into your honesty and maybe even setting some firmer boundaries here with people. Because she's all about that too. Like, they're very similar in this energy. They don't waste time on like half-truths. They don't fluff things. They're just very honest, even if it's like brutal, right? So it's just like straight to the point energy. So I feel like you've recently had a conversation with someone where you did speak your truth more directly here. And you've been just training on like holding yourself to a higher standard of honesty here and discernment. So yeah, that was a breakthrough for you. And usually it shows up after you've been through some challenges here. And now you're seeing things with sharper eyes, right? And you're actually able to discern when other people are not doing that, are not being present in that energy. And then, yeah, we have the near future with the Five of Swords. So like, it's a conflict card, right? It's tension. And I feel that there might be a disagreement where both sides of this disagreement are sort of caught up in their ego a little bit of like who's being right in this, and the pride is sort of getting in the way of any sort of true resolution here. So you got to ask yourself if this is worth it, right? If you're going to do this, if you're going to invest time in this, or if it's better to just walk away with your peace more intact, if that's going to be the better outcome for you here. Suggested approach. So finally, some emotions here with the King of Cups, right? So yeah, this is just to balance things out, right? With emotions, it's telling you to not shut your feelings off completely. And yeah, just let your feelings flow without getting tossed around by them, right? So it's a good balance point. So just like in this reading so full of swords, like, this is a reminder that wisdom is not just going to come from your mind here, right? It's going to still come from your heart and from your intuition too. So just make sure to do that. And then you have your surrounding energy. So we have the Two of Wands there. Now we're done with the swords, see? So Two of Wands shows the energy of planning here. So you're looking into like future possibilities with this card. Like you're just, yeah, you're seeing that the world is bigger than what's actually right in front of you right now. And you're feeling this urge to think beyond your comfort zone here and to move, right? And that's why you're feeling a little bit restless in this reverse Eight of Wands energy here. Yeah, so it's like you're just deciding which road you want to take. And you're kind of like, that's also bringing in an aspect of this uncertainty here, which is why I feel like some of you might be waiting for an answer. Like you've been applying for jobs, you're just waiting for that phone call. You don't even know if that's going to align with you. So there's a little bit of that too, which is just feeding the like, what do you call it? Like fueling the flames, right? To this energy here that you're feeling, of this just being kind of stuck in that stagnant energy. Yeah, and then you have your hopes and fears. So Three of Pentacles. So you hope for collaboration here. You want collaboration. You want teamwork to happen, right? Where you're recognized for your skill set, right? You're like maybe in this fear sense, like you're kind of scared of relying too much on other people and not being seen for what you're bringing into this, to the table, right? Where you kind of like feel a little bit left out here. So yeah, it's reminding you that you don't have to live off that fear and think that you need to build everything alone, even though you are very independent as a sign, right? And that you're gonna be needing some support. And that real growth that comes from this week is gonna happen through that. It's gonna happen with support. So be okay with that, like be open to that, right? And we have the Fool there in a potential future. So that's a fresh beginning for you looking ahead. This is great, right? This is you stepping into something new with more trust, especially now that you don't have any answers whatsoever. So after all this mental back and forth here with the swords, this is a breath of fresh air where it's going to offer you some freedom here. It's like a reset button for you. It's going to just open things up for you here. So it's good. It's a good sign. And we have the World here at the bottom of the deck. So underneath everything, like that's your anchor here for this week. So this is a cycle that's completing for you, right? Something happened here where you come full circle in a situation. So this week is all about recognizing that you're ready for that next stage to just open up here with the Fool. And there is some wholeness here. And there's also very much this readiness to move forward here. So this is close now. So it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You're not gonna be stuck in this for too long. That's not what I'm thinking here. Yeah, it's this week, right? So this week is all about trying to navigate this uncertainty here and truth, right? And there are gonna be delays. There are gonna be some unclear signals happening for you, which are gonna frustrate you a bit. And at your core, like, it's frustrating because you're very much craving this clarity here, right? And you've been coming from a place where you've been sharpening your voice, you've been setting boundaries, right? And in the near future, you're going to be facing a little bit of conflict here with the Five of Swords. So yeah, that's a situation that's just there to ask you if it's better to win this argument or to keep your peace and walk away from that. So your guidance this week is to just balance your logic with compassion and just look at the bigger picture of where you want to go, right? And that involves also collaboration. It involves teamwork, right? Not doing everything alone. That's going to help you move forward. And the bigger lesson here is all about being able to step into this new chapter here and just honoring the closing of this old cycle here with the World. So this is a breakthrough moment for you where you're moving away from this mental uncertainty here and this conflict into more balance and these new beginnings for you. And that's all I have for you today, Virgo. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this reading resonated. And if it did, make sure to give it a like and let me know in the comments below which part resonated the most with you. And also, please don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy my content. That would be very appreciated since my channel is still very, very new and tiny, which would help me grow. So yeah, thanks so much for that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.